everyone, Janie here, and guess what? After I did my last video on Shaker Cards 101, where I shared variations of shaker cards, one of my wonderful viewers brought it to my attention that I don't have any tutorials on making your basic shaker card. I have one on, making the Tulle shaker card, and I have one on making the Snowglobe shaker card, but not on just your basic shaker card. What was I thinking? So guess what? Let's head on over to the craft table and I'm going to show you some basics on making shaker cards. Today I'm just going to be sharing a basic tutorial on making a traditional shaker card, and I will be sharing some tips and techniques, but we are not going to be making a gorgeous card today. I'm just going to be showing you how to make a shaker card. So I'm not using any beautiful papers or anything, just basic stuff right here. And to start off with, you can make your card any size you want. Today I am using a card that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so a regular A2 size card. And because I like the layered look, I cut down the front panel so that it is 4 inches by 5 1/4. So this is what we're going to use to get started. The first thing we're going to do is cut an opening in this front panel. So I have out my cuttle bug. You might use something else to do this with, whether it's a big shot or a template you have. And you can cut any shape opening you want. And there isn't really even a specific size. You just don't want it to be too close to your edges. So I'm just using the circle die, and the reason I'm using a circle is because I'm going to be showing a tip or technique to you in a little while on putting the foam tape around a circle. So I'm just going to decide where I want that, and I like to use washi tape to hold it in place. So I'll just put a little washi tape on here, just like that. Okay, so I have the circle where I want it, and I'm just going to run this through the cuttle bug. It's difficult to do without getting my arm in the way of the camera here, but there we go. Okay, and we will get the washi tape off. We will get the little die off from there, and there we have the little window cut in our front panel to start on our shaker card. Okay, now I have all my cuttle bug stuff out of the way, and the next step is get the front of your card here and get the panel that you just cut your little window in, and you are going to line it up right where you want it. So let me get mine lined up right where I want it, and you can use washi tape to hold it in place if you want to. But the circle you cut out, you don't want to throw away, because this is one of my tips. So take the circle, and you can take a piece of washi tape if you would like and stick it on the back. Okay, so we got the washi tape on the back. And again, I probably should have put a little washi tape on here to keep it lined up where I want it. But I'm just going to get it there and call that close enough. Now, take your circle or your square or your heart or whatever you cut out. You're going to put it right back in the middle of that circle. Right back where it came out of, and press it down. Now you know where to put your double-sided tape. I'm hoping this card is showing up good against the white because it's not white, but I'll tell you what, I'll be right back with a craft mat. There we go. Now it shows up better. Okay, so now that you have that right where your opening is going to be, the next step is to put your foam tape around the edges. Now, a lot of people do it differently. A lot of people take this and they put their foam tape around this. And then they put their sequins in this, and then somehow they get their card over it. I've never quite understood that. That's why I'm showing you the way I do it. So we have our circle down, and now we've got our double-sided foam tape. Got me some scissors here. And let me see if I can change. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to cut off a strip of this. I'm not even paying attention really to what size. And now I'm going to cut that in half right down the middle, creating two skinnier strips. All right, now take your strip. I'm going to get my smaller scissors for this one. Take your little strip. We're not going to cut all the way through. See if I can get close enough for you to see. But we're going to cut little snips every so often. You know, every 1/4 of an inch or so. And just, you don't even have to measure it. Just use your eyeballs there and just clip it every once in a while. That's going to make it so that it will curve around your circle. So, going around the outside of your circle, and you don't have to exactly touch where your circle is. You can be a little bit off, you know, so that your double-sided tape doesn't show through the window. And we're going to put this on. Let me show you. See how those little snips made it easy for this to curve around the circle? Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So I'm just going to put some snips here. And just make sure you don't go all the way through to the other side. Now, you say, what are you doing? What are you doing? Well, I'm taking that off, and I'm going to layer this one right over the top. And the reason why I'm using the other half instead of just going around and then starting over again is because we already know that that half will exactly fit on top of the one underneath it. Okay, so I'm just going to continue this process until I am all the way around that circle. Okay, I've got the circle done, and I want to point out that you need to make sure that it's touching all the way around. I mean, so if there's no openings for the sequins to fall out, or especially if you're using glitter, you don't want that to fall out. So no matter what shape you're doing, even if it's square, make sure that each piece of foam tape butts up against the next one so that there is no opening. And now you can take out the centerpiece, or if it's something really pretty and you want to leave it there, or if you want to have something stamped on it, you know, or put a, you know, you can even take it out and then, you know, maybe put a die cut word across there. That's totally up to you. But for the moment, we are done with this part. Now it's time to work on the front panel. So this is the time where I'm going to be attaching acetate right here, or if you wanted, you could attach lace like I did on this card. Now, if you're going to be using lace, I suggest that you attach it with something like Beacon 3-in-1 glue. But if you're going to be using acetate, then use something like scrappy tape or score tape, or you know, a really good, strong, double-sided tape. So we're going to take this and we are going to go around the circle. And you don't even have to make this in a circle. So we're just going to make it in a square, just like this. And the reason is we already have the foam tape in a circle. And so that's going to be exactly what you need to hold in your goodies. And this is just going to be to hold on the acetate, or if you were, like I said, doing the lace, you'd want to be doing this with glue. So let's see, almost done here. Okay, so we have the tape ready to go, and I have a piece of acetate here already cut out to fit right there so it doesn't go beyond, the edges of my front panel. And I'm going to show you another little tip. So some more shaker card fun. A lot of times static electricity causes things to stick. So we are going to wipe this down, and you can actually do this after you stick it on there if you want. But we're going to wipe it down with a fabric softener sheet. Genius, right? Okay, so we wiped it down with a fabric softener sheet, and that's going to be the part facing up on this. So now we'll just take off the backing of the tape. There we go. And now I'm going to set the acetate on there. There we go. Make sure that it's adhered really good. Just either burnish it with your fingers or a bone folder. But I don't know if you saw this while I was doing it, but it changed colors or kind of started disappearing. So we have that on there really good. Now, that was also easy, wasn't it? Now comes the fun part. We are going to add sequins. So I have some sequins picked out here. If you are, doing the lace, you might want to add pearls. And actually, you could add the little 3mm pearls in this, even with, the acetate. So whatever you're going to add, little pearls, little sequins, glitter, this is the time. So I'm getting it all right here in the middle. Now this is another thing. You can add as much or as little to the shaker department as you want. Some people like to add less because maybe they're going to have something behind it that they want to show. Some people may want to add more so that it doesn't shake as much, but it looks really cool. So that's totally up to you. But make sure that all of your little sequins are away from the double-sided tape. And another trick is, which I didn't do, but if you want to use your fabric softener sheet again, you can actually go around the inside edges to make sure that there's nothing sticky that's going to grab onto your sequins. Fabric softener sheets are your friend. Okay, so now I'll start removing the little protective layer of the tape here. And be real careful because you don't want to bounce this and have your sequins go flying. I've done that before. All right, so now what's left to do is you're going to layer this on the top of your card exactly where you want it so that that circle is covered and your edges are just the way you want them to look. And I hate to say this, but I'm probably going to have to do this off camera, otherwise I'm going to have my head in the way of the camera. So, but you see what I'm doing. I'm taking this is our acetate, this is the front of our card, we've got the sequins ready, we've got the tape ready, and now we're going to put it on top. Okay, make sure it is adhered very good. Okay, so push down on that. And there's your shaker. Now, guess what? There's something that I forgot to do. Now, most people like to cover the back of this with foam tape. like a ton of foam tape. And I forgot to do that. Oh my gosh. And if you think I'm going to start over again, you're wrong. So let me show you something, even though I have this already adhered. I'm going to take my foam tape, and I don't want it to go from edge to edge, so I'm just going to decide where I want it and cut it. Okay. Now I'm going to cut it again, just like we did with the other one, so that we have skinny strips. I guess it's good to show you how to correct a mistake. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to lift this up and stick it underneath. You don't want it too close to the end. You don't want it to show from the sides or the ends. So bear with me here. Okay, now it's not sticking because I haven't taken the layer off. I'm just showing you how to fix a mistake. So same thing, you're going to lift this end up and you're going to push it underneath, just like that. Okay, still not sticking it down yet. Now you're going to do the same thing for the other sides. So, you know, just figure out, you don't really need a really long piece in there. I know a lot of people think that if it's not covered like solid underneath, then there's a problem, but I have never covered it solid underneath. I do exactly what I'm doing right here, except that usually I do this before I put the top down. But like I said, it's always good to share how to fix a mistake. So that one's there, and this one will go on this side. You just stick it right under where it can't be seen. This is hard to do because I'm trying to do it on camera. So you know what? I'm just going to move it over here a minute so I can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. Now, all I have to do is go back and peel off the tape and stick it down. Now, normally you would put 2 layers, just like you did around the circle, but when you make a mistake like I just did, it's kind of hard to do that. So that's why we're just doing a single layer. But if you do this correctly, then all you need to do is, before you lay it down, just put a double layer, just like you did around the circle. Do the same thing, just a skinny strip along the edges, inward a little bit, just like this. But this still came out great, and that is how you make your basic shaker card. And like I said, you could add more, you can add less. Your circle can be any size or any shape, actually. It doesn't have to be a circle. You can put something back in there, or even put something over the acetate if you want. But that is the basics on putting a shaker card together, including tips, tricks, and fixing your mistakes. So what we just did, making this card, is the same thing I did making this one, except that I used lace and pearls. And it's the same that I did with this. This was actually a digital image, and I just cut out the inside of the heart, and then I had a die cut love that I put over the top. But it's the same technique, and hopefully you remember to, let me see if I can show you, to put your layers around the edges of your card, the foam tape, before you put it together. But remember, if you make the mistake like I just did, it's that easy to fix it, just like I showed you. Also, I want to share with you 2 other cards that use the same technique, but different. So on these cards, I just added the shaker to the front. but I did it the exact same way. So I knew where I wanted my teapot to go, and I took the circle actually in this one, and you really can't see it, but there's a green circle on the inside as well so that it still looks like the teapot. And then I used chunky glitter. But I put it together the same way, other than instead of being a whole panel across the top, it's just an item. Just one element of your card. But it's done the same way, just as easy as I showed you. Thank you all for watching today, and I hope this was helpful for all you card makers that are new to making shaker cards, and I hope you watch my other videos on the other style of shaker cards too. Happy crafting, everyone. Bye-bye.